A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Bafana.
All about faith to this is Parker, yeah. Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Tando Pela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Coach Shorty, as overthink is your overachiever. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host, and this is a place where we love South African football. We love African football. Every now and then we go overseas. But every now and then, once in a blue moon, really. Guys, the show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. And if you want to watch any of the previous episodes, let's say ungenele, we're already inside the show when you got here. It's available in full on YouTube, and you can find 3 years worth of shows. So people were coming in yesterday and we were treating that game as a training game. So we're not going to have a review of the Pirates game, but we are going to follow a little bit of a thread that I want to go down. Now, guys, remember, it's a very interactive show. How it works is that there's going to be 4 panels of 5 people tonight. Everybody's going to get 5 people to jump, 5 minutes, sorry, to jump in so that we can have a conversation about what it is that we're speaking about. Please remember that when you're on the panel, Kupa, wait 2 minutes or 3 minutes so that I can have 2 minutes where I can ask you a question or two about whatever it is that you are speaking about. You request by pressing the button at the bottom of your screen that says multi-guest. It's got a blue figure hugging a pink figure. You click on it, I'll let you in. We have a conversation about whatever it is. So today, like I said, I'm following a thread that I've seen in the comments of the videos that I've posted where people are saying that, wait, see, these other teams, when Orlando Pirates is playing, they go and play Orlando Pirates, they play harder, but when they go and play Sundowns, they don't do enough in order to help Pirates take away the points from Sundowns so Pirates can go and win. Pirates had one of their best seasons this year, but because the other teams are rolling over for Mamelodi Sundowns, it doesn't, they're not helping out. So the question is twofold. Number one, do the other teams need to help Pirates to win the league? Whose responsibility is it to go out and win the league? And then number two, I know we're going to speak about money, and I know we're going to say all of those things, but in this world right now, where we know that a lot of the teams are not going to spend like Mamelodi Sundowns, they're not going to do those things, how then would you, in this world, go about beating Mamelodi Sundowns to the league? And beating Mamelodi Sundowns maybe to some Champions League performances. That is what we're going to speaking about today. So please, guys, feel free to jump in and let's have a conversation. I'm going to open it up right now so we can have the first panel. Remember, guys, first 5 people, next 5 people, 5 people after that. Then the last 30 minutes will also be 5 people. Everybody will get 5 minutes to tell me what they are thinking about what we are talking about. Okay, guys, please also remember, tap the screen, man. Kopali tatin screen, kalikopa. Tatan screen, guys, please let me know if you cannot hear me or if there's any sound issues or anything like that. And when you come in, when I let you in, can you please mute just to respect whoever is speaking and respect the other guys. Okay, Bugari, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yes, so Oti,
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, thanks, man. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you perfectly. Let's jump straight in. Whose responsibility is it to win the league, and do the other teams need to also do their part to win games so that whoever's challenging can do something?
Oti, I think let's put it this way.
Yeah.
It's the other teams won't be actually helping up Pirates. They'll be helping themselves and helping the league as a whole. You know, I saw one of your videos today, like you were touching on that and saying like, are Pirates, Chiefs, and the likes actually still dedicated or motivated to win the Premier League? And it's a question I think that those teams should answer. The management should answer, and it's going to filter down to the players on how actually it's going to happen, you know. And unfortunately, as you also said, Mr. Oti, It's inevitable that we have to touch the issue of money.
Yeah.
I don't know how the PSL can try maybe put in some rules in order to help this, because let's be honest, Sundowns are 4 years ahead in terms of financial capacity. They're 4 years ahead now in terms of management as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, look at it. Pirates have a potential to win 21 games, and now we win a league. That's painful. That's really painful, you know. On a more level playing ground, I think maybe Pirates could have pushed Sundowns down, but now we're expecting Orlando Pirates to win 25 plus games, which is, you know.
So I guess my question is it impossible? Is there no way? And I want us to keep it like here where we'll have a conversation about financial fair play or rules that can be brought in, but I want to know, is it impossible right now for a team to go and challenge Sundowns?
Let's put it as it is, yes. I think this season should make that point more valid and highlighted to make it even more clear. Because let's even put it now. Let's say Orlando Pirates won 25 games, they still won't be winning the league. What's going to happen now at the end of June? Sundowns going to spend another 50 million plus, bringing in better players. And let's look at it. Sundowns is basically an NGO. You know, they're not working like other normal PSL teams. You know, let's be realistic, guys. Well, the Pirates can't go offer 30 million for a player. We've never seen that happen in PSL. It can't happen right now. So we can't blame and bash Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates to say that they must go all out and spend the money that Mamela's Sundowns has. It's relatively impossible. So yes, it will be impossible. Sundowns will want to win this league up until God knows when. Let's say Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs are bought by an Arab who comes in and then also pours in hundreds of millions. So in general, So in general, OT, I think the only way and the most possible way that will actually make the PSL more competitive is to put a cap on Mamelodi Sundowns spending. I'm sorry to say that. It's been good for our national team. Over the years, Mr. Patrice Motsepe, we thank him. It has filtered through. Siyawabona amagalelo here and there. But at what expense of having a farmers league? It's a question I've been raising with the guys I've been having conversation with. You know, yes, it's helping our league. Yes, we have representation in bigger stages, CAF Champions League, but it's going to be the Egypt route.
Can I just ask you for the last minute? Sorry, just for the last minute here. But what do you say to people that say Pirates play Sundowns twice in the league season, and Pirates should not necessarily maybe not compete with Sundowns, but surely they should be better than the other 14 teams that are left?
Mr. Oti, let's be realistic. Pirates is a younger squad, locally based squad, not as, you know, big and in tune as Mamelodi Sundowns. Okay, let's put it this way. Let's say we did beat Sundowns twice this season. You understand, we still wasn't going to be able to win the league. Let's be realistic, guys. It shouldn't get to a stage then they enjoy immense seats and thingy overseas that you must win every league game in order to win the league. Come on, guys. 21 wins, 4 draws should get you somewhere. This impossibility of beating everyone twice. Come on. On another world, in another stage, maybe that could happen. But Pirates are smaller, not a smaller team financially, which uses locally based players and younger players.
Okay.
So I think the bar is a bit too high. It's benefiting our country, but Sundowns must be kept.
What time I want to jump in? Let me bring it over. Vuyo, welcome to the show. How are you?
OT, my man.
Vuyo, tell me about this thing, man. Tell me about this thing. Now topic. I guess the question then becomes: is it impossible for Sundowns to be dethroned, and should other teams be helping, quote unquote?
Help kanjani OT?
But if they could win their games versus Sundowns, maybe the points tally is not that bad.
All right, Orlando Pirates get 3 points, Sundowns get 3 points. OT, to win the league, you need to be consistent on your game. The money of Sundowns doesn't interfere anyway. Oh, I can't hear you, my guy.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, mind you, right.
No, I mean, go on. You go on.
Yeah, OT, you need to be consistent. You need to win all of your games. You mustn't lose point.
So then,
Kenya, I lost you.
No, I'm not talking. Don't worry. I'll signal. I just thought you were going to carry on.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that you need to be consistent on your game. You win your games. It all matter. You remember Sundowns before, they used not to lose to Kaizer Chiefs, to Orlando Pirates. They will lose those games, but Pitso will tell you that you need to win your games. Not the league is not about beating Sundowns. It's not about beating Kaizer Chiefs. It's about being consistently to each and every game that you play. And people are complaining about money. Everyone's got money. Yabona? Wonke umuntu unayo imali. And remember, Sundowns was made ngemali. It was never made from Bozola Mahobe. It was never been the absent OT. You can when the research out there's nothing new in South Africa. Everything. Remember, Motsepe was told ukuthi 2004 ukuthi no, you need to are you consultant. Money will never buy a success. But now izinto mazihamba grand for Sundowns. People they are changing their bafaki imali. And remember, Sundowns, they are not competing for only South Africa. They're competing for international. They are going pound to pounds nabo Ali. You can't compete nabo Ali with the amateur squad. You need a proper squad. You need certain players. If Ali want to bring a player of 105 million in the Africa, you're competing with Ali. We are not competing with the league only for South African league. And Sundowns, they have a good structure OT. You support teams in overseas. You see the structure of the teams that they are bringing on board. OT, but yeah, that is my take on my side. You need to be consistent, OT. The league, you'll never win the league by beating Sundowns or Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates. You need to take the advantage of playing with those young teams. The likes of Maromo Kalatas was not supposed to beat Orlando Pirates. The Cape Town City game was not supposed to lose the point there.
So can I just ask for the last minute here? So what do you say to the people that then say it's money? I mean, like you're saying, Sundowns is competing continentally. They need to spend money to compete versus Ahly, and the byproduct of that is that their squad is just too good for a local league. Similar to what Ahly has, similar to what Man City have, similar to Bayern Munich. What do you say to those people that say that unfortunately we'd love to, even if we wanted to spend right now, Sundowns will just outspend you again?
I won't disagree with this fact. I will tell you the fact. You still remember that I'm still reminding you about Zola Mahobe.
Yeah.
Zola Mahobe, when he get in Sundowns, he used money. You use money. Sundowns it was a small team. Now it's the biggest team in South Africa. With the achievement, not with fan base, because of what you achieve as a big team. You don't achieve anything at the end of the season. Every season, you win one trophy, you win 2 trophies. But Sundowns, they're dominating the league, OT. And another thing, OT, Sundowns was made with months. The approach of Sundowns is straight. We need to buy players. We are not a big team. We are not the favorite in South African football. Thank you for your time.
Okay. No, thank you so much for your. Let me bring you to Bongs. Champ, welcome.
Yes, Champ.
Champ, how do you feel about this topic that we're speaking about? Because I've heard a lot of people saying that, other teams need to do their part when they play Sundowns. They can't play hard versus Pirates and then lay down for Sundowns. How do you feel about that?
Well, do other teams want to win the league themselves? First of all, you can't just try and give Pirates points and try to play against Sundowns. Le bona ba batla win the league. Like you've been saying, team tse tshwanang le bo Stellenbosch ba na le financial power ya gore le bona ba ka lwana in the league. So why don't they use their financial power ba win the league le bona? Because it's not only about Pirates and Sundowns in the league. Le bona they want to win the league. They are there to win the league. It's not only there for Pirates and Sundowns to win the league. So other teams le bona.
Yeah, no, go on.
Carry on. No, carry on.
I wanted to ask you, you know, sometimes you look at the league and you go, Sundowns came in with money. And before that, Chiefs and Pirates came in with commercial power that made their teams rich. Sundowns is coming in with money that comes from a billionaire owner. Is there no other way that could be the next step?
There is a way. You could get young players, develop them, try and make them superstars so that they can try and fight Sundowns for you to have people that can fight Sundowns for you.
Is that going to be sustainable?
It could work, but it's going to take 2 to 3 seasons for it to work, because development doesn't happen overnight. It has to happen. It has a certain limit. You could get a player and be told that he needs over 300 and something days to become a star. So it's going to take a lot of time, but it has to happen at some point that you find a player from development. You can't just say that Sundowns are buying everyone, whereas you can have your own development and develop a player who can come in and help you beat Sundowns.
But the teams say they need to sell. They say, guys, we need to sell our players. If we want to be financially fine, we must sell our players.
Who's selling your players now? You are weakening your own self now. You can't fight the other team. Why can't they just keep their players? Look at Barcelona. Barcelona are known that they are broke right now, but they are winning the league because they have a plan. They're developing players. It's maybe in South Africa, the development system, the way they develop their players is not working for them. Maybe they should start copying teams from England and Spain and whoever around the world to see if they can develop their players the way those teams develop their players, so they can challenge Pirates and Sundowns. Because the league is not only about Pirates and Sundowns. There are other teams, Bomagesi, Amazulu are there.
Yeah.
You have to fight them as well. You can't just say, I'm going to play when I play Mamelodi Sundowns and not play when I play teams like Magesi or Supersport.
For the last minute here, to your assessment, I know we're saying that, you know, these teams need to pull up their socks and do all of that stuff. How far are the teams from getting everything right in their systems before even looking at Sundowns? Do you think that the teams could do this next season, or how long would it take for them to do it, and why?
Well, I think it's not going to be happening overnight, like I said. It's going to take a lot of time for them to get to where Sundowns is. But they will get there where Sundowns is if they do have a plan on how they want to achieve their goals.
Okay, Bongs. For time to jump in. Actually, no, not for time. 1 minute, Bongs. What do you say to the teams that have money? You know, we support Kaizer Chiefs. It may not be spending the type of money that Sundowns is spending, but they can surely outspend a few teams in the league. What do you say to those teams that have the means but are not doing it properly?
I think these teams should decide that it's time to go broke for them to get rich. Because if you use the money you've got and you use it, all of it, to get the right players, you'll get your profit back from using that money that you were keeping away from trying to challenge Sundowns.
Okay. Time. Let me go to Lange. Lange, welcome to the show. How are you?
Nedbank Cup Champions League.
Oh, thank you, champion. Welcome.
Yeah. Yabona Champions think allies ngoba nobongani ukhuluma into bengicabanga nami.
Yeah.
Kuyabonakala. So the main point la ngathi siyayiphambanisa. We are saying akusizwe iPirates instead of akusizwe lamanye ama team ane financial strain ngempela. iPirates izosizwa ngani? ukuthi bebanike amanye ama-team ama-point. There's no such thing. But lamanye ama-team engasizwa ukuthi ukuze mase qhamuka i-Sundowns ethi ngifuna ukuthanda lo mdlalo, bebona ukuthi nginayo vele imali, asikho isidingo sokudayisela i-Sundowns, nami ngifuna ukwenzani, ukukhompyitha, yabo. Then sebeyakwazi ukukhompyitha nani, ne-Sundowns mase bedlala nayo. Iphutha le-Pirates nele-Chiefs benza ngamabomu, bayalayeka futhi. I-Sundowns ayiqhubeke yenze njena beze bewabona amaphutha avutha kephi. Lento akade yisho ubongani ukuthi iphutha lethu ukuthi we are not investing in younger players. Liningi italent. Akwazi ukuthi Sundowns is playing all the players. There's a limit ye-squad. Usho ukuthi laba abadlali be-Sundowns kuphela abantswempu. I-country ingaka. How many people are there in South Africa? How many players there in Africa? I-Sundowns ilanda ngisho ngaphandle. Uthini ngalokho-ke. So nje it's sekukhuluma inhliziyo kahle kahle. Nami ngiyafisa ukuwina i-league, but i-Chiefs nje ayiqhubeke ikhamisa nje. Kusanoshabalala babengacabanga ukuthi there's a player okufanele replace uShabalala. Kwangadevelopha ngani lowo mdlali ukuthi azi ukuthi nakho uMessi kwasekwazi ukuthi nangu Ansu Fati wafail, Ansu Fati walimala, nangu Yamal, because they are developing young players. They are getting their lontuzana, their investment, aba-investor in young players. Ibona abasenza ukuthi italent la eMzansi lingaphumi ngoba aba-invest in our young players. Baningi abadlali ekubonayo ukuthi lo mdlali kube wathathwa bose lize liyaphela ibhola kwezinye ingane. Liyaphela udlala ibhola uno-13 genjulwe ngawo minute exo 200 gcina seliphelile ibhola, ugcina suliyekile. Okay, zabe ngakubonanga. I-Sundowns nje ngikhumbula mina ngisase primary yayisithenga i-Sundowns iqala i-assessa. Kwangabi ukuthi uthathwe i-Pirates, kwangabi ukuthi uthathwe i-Chiefs, but kwakuthiwa uthathwe i-Sundowns or uthathwe amaZulu. Iwona ama-club engiwaziyo lawo ayeke thathayo. Then sebeku-assess, iya-investa or iphinde ithenge, i-investa ngemali, investa kuma-young players, iyazama. Ne-Chiefs iphutha layo ukuthi why i-Chiefs ne-Pirates inganawo ama-proper world-class development facilities for young players.
I want to ask you on that one. Yes, Chiefs and maybe Pirates can maybe do that. Mara, ulamatima manye, can they afford to develop the players and get the facilities and get all of those things? Can they afford to splurge like that to develop some players when maybe you're going to be fighting relegation 6 months later?
Okay, ngizosho 2 points. Point number one is that if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns invest in young players, ngeke bewathathe onke ama-players, but they will take some and leave some for others. So the main point uthi iphutha le-Chiefs ne-Pirates kukho konke kwasekuqaleni. Two, it's ibuyela kwipoint lami lokuqala engithena fanele kusizwe lamanye ama-team, because uma eqhamuka esizwa financially asezoba nemali yokuthi ngicabanga ukuthi incane kakhulu imali i-PSL ayikhiphayo or in ayikhiphayo for lamanye ama-club asuke efika. So I think fanele si-investe nalapho-ke, because uma efika abanjwa i-financial strain.
Okay. For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring in Malume Kuzo. Malume Kuzo, welcome.
Hey.
Le wena nkari champion akere. Le wena champion. Hello, champ.
MTN8.
Yeah.
Back to back repeat. Balokhe bakhona bo spend imali, the biggest team in the country. So ke sibadabula kuma final bese bathi bakhale bese babuye bathi asinandaba nalo plastic cup mara stawula bona. Bese babuye bathi sibaropile. Repeat. Let that sink in. Repeat. Man, Mr. Uti, as people can lie.
Yeah.
Man, be careful, Mr. Uti, man.
Okay.
When you phrase some questions, people will miss Kanaking. the moral behind the question and go for what you said directly as if that's what you meant.
Yeah.
I don't think at any point you suggested that they help Pirates for Pirates to win the league. I thought you just, I would have thought, and I'd like to think you're just talking about competing, as in help dethrone whoever is at the top, not necessarily help Pirates win it. But I think we found the answer this season, Mr. Oti, as the Pirates. Now, you would have to be strong mentally as the Pirates to keep up with what you've done this season. This is where the management has to have some big kahunas, Mr. Oti, and say, we found a system that works. We don't even have to compete. We market. We found strength in scouting.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, Relay, Exhibit B, Mhaonkota, Exhibit C, Mbogazi, Saleng, Tito. The list is endless of players we got on the loan. Now, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, okay.
I want to ask you a question, Mr. Oti.
Okay.
What makes a great player? Like great player.
Oh, it's a combination of things.
It's a combination of things, right?
Yeah.
It's not money. You don't just see a human being passing and you throw 30 million at them and then suddenly they're the best thing ever. Something happens for that person to be 30 million. So you can intercept before Lomuntu lo by 30 million and develop that player. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't think Ribeiro is the best player in the world. That's what I just said, in the world. So surely you can get something better than Ribeiro elsewhere, even in SA. What you need to understand is the ingredients to build it. You understand, Mr. Oti? Uyamal is 17. Maybe, just maybe, we have a couple of 17-year-olds in this country just needing the proper guidance, the proper assistance to develop. You understand? The Pirates is currently doing it, number 20-year-old, number 21-year-old, 19-year-old. Maybe you can even go lower, provided you are willing to invest go at the age of 13, at the age of 14, at the age of 12, so that you can produce one of the greats. You understand? I don't think Mokwena is the best footballer in the world. If you want to ask about challenging, we challenge Sundowns, whether they like it or not this season. It was uncomfortable until the last day. They were not able to rest their best players until the last day. They can try and lie and say, hey, ini. They were sweating until the last day. For 3 seasons, they have no domestic trophy because of Pirates and Chiefs now. But they have no trophy, Mr. Oti. So the phenomenon to try and suggest to us that you are unchallengeable, it's a lie. We've beaten you, and we keep beating you, and even the league, we've beaten you. That must sink in. People come to this platform and they lie. I want them to know we're beating them, and we keep beating them.
I want to ask you something. You said something very interesting. Do you think that our league and the perception of the league, fans and all of that, we have this perception that money solves everything, number one, and we look past the softer things, mentality, management, psychology. Do you think that those things play a role in this question that we're asking here, that maybe some of the other teams have to develop? Maybe you don't have the best team, but when you come and play versus Sundowns, maybe mentally you have to be ready that, okay, when we go down 1-0, we're still going to go and fight and soldier on. When we do how much of those things maybe are we missing, and are they important in your opinion?
It's many a thing, Mr. Oti, and especially to what you've just touched on. The other part, you've touched on it. Page 9. If something is working, you think it's the only thing that can work. But the very same group of players, you take them elsewhere, they're not the best in the world. You take Bafana to go and play against Egypt. Enabo Mohamed Salah, Mamouche, whoever, and Bafana comes back with the result. And if you check the price tag, Salah, my man, You are taking chances. So there's
Yeah.
more to it. There's a ton of things like psychology, even more, Mr. Oti, to say resilience, Mr. Oti. And can I just
Guys, please mute when you come in.
I know I'm really trying to go, but I just want to touch on this.
Just say that again, Marmuku.
I can't araba ka botlalo, but I just want to touch on this one point.
Yeah.
Last season, the champions had 21 wins, and they had failed to win 8 games. Pirates currently sit with the opportunity of having 21 wins, Mr. OT, and a failure to win only 7 games with 2 less games. Tell me this team has not improved.
Okay.
You understand? So, like you say, there's more that we can take into it. The Borussia Dortmund way, get the best scout. The Man United way, get the best academy. The Barcelona way, get the best talents and give them a platform. Tinga Mr. OT. But we've beaten them and we keep beating them. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go into the next panel soon, but I just want to ask. I just want to say, I think again, my issue with the conversation about when we're fighting Sundowns, quote unquote, or when teams need to do, I think a lot of the time we revolve it around money, right? And yes, does money play a role? It does. But my question then becomes, all of these teams that we so-called, or as we say, are so-called poor and they don't know what to spend, they don't have the money. Are they spending what they have right now? Are they doing the things that they're meant to be doing right now? So, for example, I'm going to use Chiefs as an example because Chiefs is my team, right? Chiefs have made around 14 signings in the last 2 seasons. And of those 14 signings, there's maybe a handful that have actually panned out. You think about Abontuari, you think about Abo Plom, who are not playing well. You think about Abo Potsane, Abos but I know those are other guys. You think about Abo Sirino. And then you have to ask the question that, okay, Chiefs, you have the ability to go sign 8 players. But every time you go into the market, you're signing these players. But your system doesn't match these guys, or maybe you're not sure about your system. Some of these guys mentally are maybe not prepared for playing for Kaizer Chiefs. Like, it's one thing to want to wear the jersey, but when now you're losing and it feels like the whole country is angry at you, what type of mental work are they putting in? Psychological work to make sure that those players are fine. When you look at man management, okay, boy, you had a bad game. Okay, boy, you're not working here. How do we reintegrate you into the team? How do we keep your confidence high? How do we keep, do we ask those questions? And I'm saying Chiefs, for example, for a reason. But then think about it. Does Bakesi do that? Even though they might have got it right with Owen De Gama towards the end of the season, he came in and gave them a run of games. Does Chiefs do that? Does Makesi do that? Does Richard Bay do that? Does Supersport is struggling with that right now? Are we also putting aside those parts of the game when we speak about this? Anyway, let me bring in Lutando. Lutando, welcome to the show. How are you? Lutando, are you with me? Okay, let me see. Dangamani, are you with me?
Yes, OT, how are you, Prime?
Mangimnandi man, Dangamani. Na indaba man, welcome. Tell me about this thing. How do you feel? Should teams be helping Pirates? How do you beat Sundowns? Where do you sit on this conversation we're having?
Well, OT, I did respond, by the way, Kuma SMSs to saying, I think the question is wrong in the first place.
Okay.
It's wrong in this sense. Since 2020, Pirate has only beaten Sundowns once in the league, which was the 2-1 on. Are you following?
Yeah.
It then tells you what a Pirate, even the same Pirate again, is not capable of beating a Pirate. I'll take you back 2 years back. I think 2 seasons back, Chiefs. Pirate lost. Sundowns lost 1 game. That loss came from the Chiefs, if you recall it. And then last season, Sundowns lost 1 game. That 1 loss came from the Ajax, not the Pirate. It then tells you what. Hence, I said, Pirate is not even capable of beating Sundowns. Rather, the small teams are doing it justice. The problem with these two teams that Pirate and Sundowns, they're not doing it justice. Maybe when you factor in the season, the current season, it will mislead you into thinking that Pirate is the one that is challenging. But you look at the gap. I think last season Pirate was number 2, but what was the gap? It's 15 points or 20 points.
23
Are
points.
you then gonna? Yes, are we then gonna say if Pirate is challenging? They're not challenging. Actually, there was no number 2. If I were to put it blunt, there was no number. Just because of for a fact they were the closest one, then it qualifies with Bible number 2. And then second, let's agree. Pirate has a better squad than Chiefs. I think second to Sundowns. I think second to Sundowns. Now, then suggests Pirate should be in a position to beat the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
Then the conversation will be then Pirate is struggling to beat the Sundowns only. But with the rest of the teams, Pirate is able to beat. But it's not the case. It then tells you what you can't win in league. Pirate has rest, Sundowns has rest.
Oh, guys, mute when you come in. Respect the speaker. Mute. Wizzy, bouncer, mute, please.
Guys, please, I need a follow back, please.
Wizzy, we're not doing that. Bouncer, Menti, please.
Back, please, guys.
Who's this now? Who's speaking now? Hey, Mara, sorry, man.
Yeah, no. OT, I'm simply saying the only time where I would say Pirate did well to challenge for a league, it was this season. Yeah. The rest of the season, Pirate was not challenging for a league.
Can I ask you, Tagamani, just now, can I ask you, how important is consistency? Because it takes Pirates 3 years to get here, but then the 4th year, Jose's gone. You know, last season, Mabasa scores 16 goals, top goal scorer. This season, there's a complete fall off. What does consistency play into this conversation we're having in beating Mamelodi Sundowns? Because they've shown that, okay, Reyners goes from 15 goals to X amount of goals plus assists. Ribeiro goes from this amount to that amount. There's a consistency and an improvement. Do you think that Pirates can do that for 5 more seasons?
No, I think OT is too late now for a Pirate to say that they will challenge for a league next season. My assessment is that Chiefs will come very strong to challenge for a league. And we all know that Chiefs is capable of challenging for a league or to challenge the Sundowns.
Okay.
The difference, once the Chiefs challenge for a league, I can assure you now that the difference will be not more than 5 points or 4 points between the two teams. But the other thing as well, the issue of consistency which we have raised is very much important. But Sundowns right now, it has demonstrated what you need now more than 70 plus points in order to win the league. And how many of these teams that they will be able to do that? I think the Chiefs has only done that once.
Yeah.
So even with the Chiefs at their best, it's still gonna be difficult. Let's accept that Sundowns have set the bar very high. It then tells you what this team they must plan. When you plan for the whole year, you then said, let me beat everyone. And including nice Sundowns. I'd rather maybe lose 1 game to Sundowns, but I would have collected now than certain points from them. Then you stand a better chance. To put it bluntly, if you want to challenge for the league, make sure that you don't lose more than 4 games. Then you stand a better chance of winning a league. But Sundowns, Pirate has only done well this season alone. But previous season, Pirate was nowhere to be seen.
For time, I'm going to have to jump in. Guys, please behave when you come in. Please behave, guys. There's somebody speaking. Can't be jumping in and saying all types of things. Menti, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good, Menti. Naindaba, how do you feel about this situation, this question that I'm asking? And do you think that Sundowns can be beat, and how should they be beat?
For now, this thing is going to be very hard because when you look at Orlando Pirates this year, they were in good. They were in good formation. The problem that the mess where they mess up is when we go to the breaks
Yeah.
around January. They didn't sign, and after that, they were knowing that they are playing CAF Champions League. We got domestic cups. We still have a league. After that, they release a lot of players who knows Paris philosophy. So what happened is that the time they were number one is around December, January. We even talk about this thing with some other guys there, and then we said the Pirates will play very well at CAF Champions League. But the problem is when they came from Champions League to Betway League. Just why? Just because of what they were lacking that skill of rotating a lineup. You understand? So when you play against with one lineup, it's not easy to beat more than 5 teams in a row, or let's say 6 teams in a row. Why? Just because of that, you can win maybe 5 or 4 or 3. Okay, they knows now already. Okay, Mendike is playing like this, and then Kodan is playing like this. You see, just like this.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing that I've seen, that why Sundowns lost that Kaizer Chiefs games, that Kaizer Chiefs League game. This what happened, and this what happened when Sundowns draws against Esperance, and then go and draw again with Egypt. They were using a same lineup maybe for more than 7 games. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And using more than same player in the same lineup, every team can plan for you, because they know already who's coming and play this position, and this guy play like this. You are going to play like this. This guy use only one leg, which is left or right. You must mark him like this. Only that to play so guys to keep the player out of you, outplay him. You understand? So the thing is, what
No,
makes
go.
Sundowns
Yeah.
what makes Sundowns to be in a form of play of winning league is what they play league and take number 1. After that, they contest to play CAF Champions a lot of several times. When they play for CAF Champions, they were losing just because of injuries. In a stage groups and the same final. So they were losing because of injuries, red card, bookings, out of form. You see.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you just for the last minute? Sorry, I just want to ask you. You touched on something very important there. You said that they went into the transfer window and they didn't get better. So my question to you becomes: do you sacrifice Abong Fukeng, Abong LTP, Abong Kota to go get number 1 players, or are you signing Are you signing rotation players?
Come again.
I'm asking you, okay, so you've got Mfukeng right now, and we are coming into the transfer window. Do you sign a player that's better than Mfukeng, and maybe risk Mfukeng and his growth? Or do you bring in a player that's below Mfukeng and say, we just want to rotate this guy? Mfukeng is still our number 1.
According to the way they are now, you can't sacrifice him. You can go for the other position. As you know your team, as it's like Orlando Pirates, you know already, I'm not good in this position.
Yeah.
I'm good, but not that much good I need. And then I've got this position, it need backup. So you put competition in that position. So when you put competition, even the guy who's playing in that position right now, he's gonna pick up his socks. You understand?
Okay.
This is where, and in this condition, you take your team to another level. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can. What is the point of playing league? The point of playing league is we need 3 points. You understand?
Okay.
After 3 points, we need the leading team of those 3 points is going to win the cup. Okay, which means this is competition. This is competition. It's not we are not just playing. and you can
Yeah.
wait for the dominant team to disadjust to the team which is not playing. Those
Yeah. For
unformed
time.
teams must adjust
Yeah.
to the dominant team.
For time, I'm gonna have to just jump in there for time so that we can get everybody in. Let me go to Korani. Thank you so much, Menti. Let me go to Korani.
Mr. OT, or should I say Mr. Champ?
Oh no! This year we are all champs. Everyone, it fits everyone. It didn't fit for 9 years, but it's fine. Korani.
That's expired because it was 2024. We are in 2025 now.
Korani, you're a Sundowns fan. Where do you sit with this conversation where people are saying that the other teams must come together and beat you guys in order to help or maybe aid someone who's going to compete?
It doesn't work like that, Mr. OT.
Yeah.
This is a Royal Rumble. Everyone for himself. You don't need help from. If you want to be a champion, you need to do it yourself. You don't need to get help from others. No. It doesn't work like that. A league, it's like a marathon. It's the OT. It's not a sprint. You can't take Usain Bolt and take him to run a complete marathon. It's not gonna work. You will get tired fast.
Okay.
The same thing that Orlando Pirates did. First 7 games, they were on fire. They were number 1 there. They were even claiming that the league is ours. Sundowns must go and ask for extra games to win this league. Not knowing that Sundowns have been doing this thing for years and years and years. They know. You can't just build a Eiffel Tower by one day. You need a strong, proper foundation, strong materials, quality materials. So that's Sundowns. So the foundation that Sundowns have, even going forward, like, it's still gonna continue. And now we are no longer talking about only league, because league now it's our playground. Now we're focusing on big things, which is to conquer Africa.
I want to ask you something. You're talking about a foundation for Sundowns, and a lot of people start the foundation from Dr. Motsepe. But overall, Mamelodi Sundowns has won 15 leagues out of the 29, let's say 29, 30 of the PSL era. How do you think that the other teams maybe simply don't have the league winning ability or the league winning knowledge? And how do you develop that? Especially now seeing that Sundowns, our shame, it's gone league-wise in PSL era history.
It's, to be honest, it's not gonna be. Yes, you can have those teams that they can come and have those one season wonder. We thought maybe Pirates, they were gonna do it this season. I don't know what went wrong, but I can say maybe experience.
Yeah.
Even how can I say it? Depth in their bench, quality versus quantity. But to be honest, if you don't have a proper structure in your team, proper management, and a long-term plan, like, it's not gonna be easy for you to win the league. League is not easy, to be honest, but it is possible. I can't write it off that it's not gonna be possible for that team to do it. We can make example with Leicester, what they did in England. They came from division and then they had that one season wonder and then they took a league. We can check Bayer Leverkusen, they have the wonderful one season.
Yeah.
And yes, it's possible, it can happen, but for you to have this successful, to win league like multiple times in a row, you need a proper foundation and a proper quality players. And you don't just need to have only starting 11. You need to have maybe 2 or 3 teams that maybe if you can put your second or third team still going to deliver the same results. Like what's happening in Sundowns. Like if someone's out and someone comes in, you will see that this person wants to have that, you want to be recognized also to the first starting 11. Like you replace quality with quality. That's what's happening. And I think that's what was,
No, I wanted to ask you for the last 45 seconds here. Do you think that other teams, you know what, let me not ask. Finish your point for this last minute here, for the last 30 seconds here.
No, you can ask me, Mr. Oti.
No, it's a big,
No, but it's possible for the likes of Chiefs and Pirates. It's possible. It's not like they don't have money. Stellenbosch also, they do have money. They can invest like Supersport also, they do have money. But in order for you to make money, you need to spend money. But it's like these people, they are running things. Maybe they don't have the same vision
Hey, Amzo, muta.
or the same long-term goals. But Motsepe, we all know when it comes to Sundown, he said he wants to conquer Africa, and that's why he built a monster like Mamelodi Sundown. It's not like Pirates and Chiefs, they do have those teams, they have a major sponsor that pop up money where they can buy players. Like, for example,
Okay. Time. Kodaji, time.
Oh, no worries, but respond to my DM, please.
Okay, I will. Prapounsa, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm good. Welcome. Where do you sit on this topic that we're speaking about here?
Yeah, the problem, based on your question, I think the Pirate, they got that mentality problem. They don't have consistency. You see, like they are not consistent. Because if last time you check, Pirate, they were number one when it started in the league. They were number one. They were promising that they're gonna win the league. The problem is consistency. Consistency is not there.
How do you build consistency? So Pirates has been in the league. They're the oldest of the three teams. Pirates is the oldest. They've been in the league for 30 years. How do you now build that consistency as a Pirates team?
Like what I'm trying to say now, like you can see even Chiefs, they don't have consistency. They win one game, they lost another, they win, they lost another. So problem is that like the players, they don't have that winning mentality. They have to win every game when they are playing the league. You know, the winning mentality of Pirate for the cup is very impressive. You can see, even you can see that they are really hungry for the cups. But that hunger, they must bring it to the league. If they bring that hunger to the league, they're gonna win the leagues. So
Can you say the same about Sundowns and Cups, the other way around? Because they don't win the domestic trophies.
Yeah, Sundowns. The hunger of Sundowns is only for league and CAF Champions League. There's no hunger for cups.
Is it possible to do both?
Yeah, it's possible. They got good squad. It's possible. They got good squad at Sundowns.
And then, okay, do you think that, even though we're saying that maybe Sundowns can outspend everybody, do you think that Pirates is doing everything in their power to compete with Sundowns? In terms of when they're signing and when, I mean, we saw Gilberto come in and Gilberto go out, for example. Abokim Viudi can't be trusted yet, quote unquote, can't be trusted for when they play. Can we say that team has done everything in their power?
They've done everything. Problem, you can't beat Sundowns to win a league. You have to beat all. You have to collect all points. You have to beat Magesi. You have to beat Polokwane City. You have to beat Supersport to win the league.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat Sundowns to win a league.
Yeah.
Even like Sundowns can beat you home and away, but you can still win the league. You lost only 2 matches, then you win the league.
Okay. Yo, I want to ask, if not Chiefs and Pirates, can other teams step up? Was Stellenbosch? Or does it have to be Chiefs and Pirates?
Even Supersport can step up. Remember, Supersport won the league 3 times in a row. In a row. They got that mentality. They got that mentality of winning the league. Even Santos won the league. They come up from NFD and they come up in the PSL, they win the league. So it doesn't mean a league is for the big teams. Even small team can win the league.
Okay. For time, Prapansa, I'm going to bring in Amzo. Amzo?
Burauti.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, my Buddha man. How's it?
I'm trying to zoom into your profile picture. Is that a Sundowns jersey?
Litawana put.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to protect the team, but I'm just going to be honest.
So tell me, where you, as a Sundowns fan, you hear people talking about this topic and they're saying that teams they don't play when they play Sundowns, and say that people must come together. How do you feel about this as a Sundowns fan?
Yeah, this thing, bruh, to be honest, Sundowns is gonna keep on dominating, bruh, even for 2 years to come. Like it's gonna be go to 2030, bruh. Reason why these like big clubs, we call it Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates, quality, bruh. Some of them they believe on it development, but development is ready to compete with the Sundowns for ixesha elide, bruh.
Yeah.
I don't think those boys are fit enough, bruh. Yes, they are good, but come man, quality is very important. They can say as long as but Sundowns is buying all these players. Why they don't go and buy those players? They do have a lot of money. But the problem is that they don't want to go deep on their pockets. They just want to buy like cheap on my friends, you see. So, bruh, Sana is still gonna dominate, bruh.
Is there okay, no, go on, sorry.
So it's still gonna dominate because the indlela abadlala ngayo nendlela iSundowns eyenza ngayo esayina iplayer ngakhona. Yes, bruh, it's amazing. Thina singama-Sundown fans, we are happy. Yes, izinto zokwenzeka over the night, but as time goes, izinto zenzeka kuthi smoothly. Like for instance, look at bekusenzeka ntoni ngoku befika uCardoso. People they were talking. Yes, nathi singama-Sundown in the beginning we were not happy, but as time goes, ngasibona yes as well, bruh, things are happening.
Yeah.
So you have to sign good quality players in order to compete with the Sundowns. If you're gonna believe on the development, therefore you're gonna play for number 2, number 3, number 4 down there, because you don't want to go deep in your pocket, bruh.
Is that the only way?
To compete with the Sundowns, you have to go deep to your pockets, go sign good quality players. Don't go there, let's say, because now it's cheap, you sign players is 10. But I mean, like, how long is it gonna take to like Timmy Jail? It's gonna take another 3 seasons. Sundowns it's going. Sundowns is not standing in one place, it's going forward. So, bruh, this one, I like the question here, but to be honest, bruh, you're still gonna conquer.
So can I ask you a different question then for the last minute here? Are we able to create another Chiefs and Pirates in our league? Is it possible to create another Chiefs and Pirates?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, no. They're still gonna steal the remaining, bruh. It's very difficult to create those teams. Remember those ones, they are big ones. And even the fan base, so it's a difficult one, bruh.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible, bruh. But the only thing that can happen up in Zanzi is Sundowns to win in domestic cups, in league, CAF Champions League. Wow, I'm telling you, my brother, about these teams in in 2 years to come. From now, 2025, 2026, 2027. If 2028 is still such strong as Sundowns and Sundowns is winning the domestic cups, my brother, oh.
Okay.
Therefore, after Sundowns, we're gonna talk about Thomas Stellenbosch, Thomas Kukuni, because they are improving.
Yeah.
Big time. And then well is fight the Sundowns. We can't run away from that one.
For time I want to jump in. Thank you so much, Amzo. We're gonna go into the last hour. We're gonna go into the last hour of the show. This is all I want to say, and this is the question that I want to ask the comments. I want to ask the comments this question: how important is the team's culture? Because I don't think you can ask Sundowns culture-wise how to win cups. I can look to Pirates and say Pirates. They've got a pedigree of winning cups. They've now done five in 3 years. You look at Kaizer Chiefs the 10 years. You could ask Kaizer Chiefs and say your culture was winning trophies, the little cups, the SA Super 8s, and all of those type of trophies. How important is those cultures in this conversation? And can those teams teach themselves how to win the league? Similarly, can Sundowns, who maybe don't have a culture of taking those cups at the frequency and the rate of the Soweto teams, can they teach themselves to go for cups? And can those two things happen at the same time? Can those two things live at the same time? That is the question that I want the comments to please let me know. We're going to go into the third panel for tonight. The question is very easy. How do you beat Sundowns? And do the other teams have to take part in this? Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, leadership, how are you?
I'm good. Gary, where do you sit on this conversation we've been having tonight?
Mina, I love the question, must other teams have Paris to beat Sundowns? Hey, it's so amazing. I don't understand why must other teams help Paris to beat Sundowns. Some teams are playing for themselves. They must win now, fight for top 8, be consistent, and everything. Sundowns has done nothing different that they've not done for the past 10 years. They've been having an honest opinion of Uti. We're gonna dominate Africa, and we have a plan. And in terms of if I would say what I think is actually the downfall of these other teams in terms of the competition for Sundowns is the recycling of players.
Okay.
You see, angeke usuke ku-Pirates uye ku-Sundowns uye ku-Chiefs uye ku-Sekhukhune kumaZulu. The level of the youngsters that we have now, we've seen under 20, we've seen abo vilakazi, we've seen abo Mofokeng, abo Masek, abo Mabhena Sundowns. They are there, hungry and waiting to play. So Sundowns kahle is not doing anything bad. It's just our team, our implementing or maybe their strategies and putting their programs in play by introducing these youngsters babathembe. Because basically akhona lama player ka. They are very brilliant, they are fast, they are young. I remember nami bangina 17 bengigijima fast. I went to Mpumalanga.
Manje amadolo athini manje ke?
Na 45 bubezi kuyanyima ukhala ibhubezi ngiyakutshela kunzima manje. So all I'm saying ukuthi I don't think it's not about money, number one. It's about trusting these young kids, grooming them very well. I listened once in interview yaga Pep Guardiola ati akathanda ukuba ne big squad. Ufuna only 25 players. Now check Sundowns, Pirates and Chiefs. How many players do they have in their squads? And then people are going to complain about Sundowns, freeze my player. Who's doing the same thing? Same as Chiefs and Pirates. There's young boys who are eager to play and replace goalkeeper Abubavuma. There's young boys who are eager to replace so many guys there. But abanika a chance because they are young. No, it's Banjalo. The mentality must change.
Can I push back? If I am in a dog-eat-dog league where people are getting relegated left, right, and center, where financial what is catching up to people and the teams are dying, do I still have the space to develop kids? Should I not be bringing in the older players and saying, guys, I don't need to teach you football. I don't need to teach you. I need you guys to get me 30 points so I can be safe. Do you think that environment of the league where most of the league is fighting is contributing?
Development is free in this country. I'll tell you that.
But I can't afford to play a 17-year-old now. Hey, I'm about to get relegated. Bring me the 36.
Was discovered when Dr. Kumalo was discovered. How old were they? 25? No. The problem, we neglected schools competition, which is our primary feeder to our professionalism. Look at rugby. Look at cricket. We ignored our competition as Golweni, and now you're going to blame Sundowns for buying in South America. This is not fair. Go back. The Chiefs in a responsibility, in the Pirates, soweto, Josie on its own to put in money. Supersport was there. Vert was there. Nyawabala and Swallows was there. They never put money in there. Let's call manje as Lalama tournament. People are in drugs. People are not playing football because they are neglected with so much talent. So I think the part of the blame it is in these big guys who've got the hand to make a difference. You understand? So Agnit Isana is doing that. All I'm saying, I know the school of excellence and so forth and so forth. However, we need to focus more on investing on schools competition. That's where you find the cream of the crop about Messi, about Lamine Yamal, about Banban, because bars have a reason to play and pursue the career. We're not
For
doing
time.
that in this country.
What time I need to jump in, Gary? I need to jump in. Guys, can we please tap on the screen? Tap on the screen, it helps with the placement of this. So if you could please tap the screen as much as possible. Let's try get to 60K before this panel is over so that we can bring more people into the conversation. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. Let me go to Lutando. Lutando, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, bro. And you?
I'm Naki Monate, man. Lutando, tell me about this topic. Where do you sit on it?
Hey, Sprouty, this topic is very sensitive because, like, I want to tell you something. It's been like 8 years, but for the past, let me say, from 2021 till now, like the change of Sundowns has been very, very, very immaculate. Like, the Sundowns of Pitso Mosimane and the Sundowns of now with all rulani and stuff, it's very different because now, lately, Sundowns is beginning to be collecting maximum points, like reaching those 70-point gaps and stuff, unlike before. So it's very difficult. Many teams have tried, like the likes of, I'll make an example of a lot, like Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch, I think it was 2021 or 2022.
Yeah.
Whether they beat us home and away, you know, but they didn't get that support whereby they take 6 points away from Sundowns, but still Pirates is not doing anything, or the second place team is not doing anything, or is not helping themselves in terms of they're getting the help. And even this season, who's this? I think Sundowns lost 3 times. It was Polokwane City, and I forgot the second team besides Pirates, the other team. So you can imagine lower teams are trying to beat Sundowns, but it doesn't help because the consistency is not there. And what's this? These teams nowadays, it's like, especially this season, it's like they've lost that momentum because they used to, when they play against Sundowns, they were like, we want to play, we want to showcase us. But now it's like, hey, let's get this game over and done with. It's fine. Let's just play. Let's just get the beating. But before, when the Rulani was there, they used to play the slow block transition. You know, go get goals, defend. You saw that, hey, Sundowns here, if they don't be cautious, they're gonna get hurt. But now you don't see that. So I question myself, Uti, are we going to be that consistent, or are the other teams failing to be consistent?
Do
Or
you,
is it just us?
do you think it's a question of maybe teams being afraid of evolving? Because I like what you mentioned there about Sundowns. Sundowns went from Pitso, then they went into Rulani, then they had a brief run with Mangoba, then they now in the Cardoso years. It shows that this is a team that keeps looking for answers. I think it would be easy for them to say, we've won by 23 points last year, let's just relax. Do you think that the other teams have done that? You look at Pirates, you could argue that Pirates, in terms of what they do in the league, they're still doing the things they've been doing for the past 14 years. And they're not looking for the next step to the league. They're not looking for the next. They're fine, Kadi Trophy, 3 years of trophies, 1 year of crawl, a double treble, 2 years. Do you think that the teams have stopped evolving? Let me put it like that.
I don't think so, because in this PSL, the teams are quick to fire coaches. I don't think that they wanna evolve, or they don't wanna. I don't know what's going on, because I think they want to keep if we are fighting for top 8, we'll be there just to fight for top 8. Even next season, it's top 8. So if the coach struggles to give that mandate of we want to fight for the top 8, you get fired even if you are doing well. Let's take Lehlonolol Siama for instance.
Yeah.
Lehlonolol Siama, I think he lost in cup matches, but
Yeah.
in the league he did exceptionally well, but he got fired. And this thing of saying Pirates has been doing the same thing, conquering. Let's take Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns for the past 5 years, OT, they've been fighting for MTN 8. Okay, they reached the finals, reached the semi-finals, but they've never been beaten in the last 8. Let's take what's this? The Nedbank Cup. Nedbank Cup. Mamelodi Sundowns has been there. They've been fighting. So you can't say other teams are not consistent and stuff. It's just that they are struggling to find solutions.
Well, I mean, like taking, so for example, For example, Makesi. Hendrik Larsson leaves for whatever reason. Bottom of the log, they bring in Owen Takama. Owen Takama takes them to a reasonable position. I take that as an evolution. Skukune hires Siema. Siema puts them in a place. Maybe after Siema, for whatever reason he leaves, you bring in a coach that takes you to the next level. You look at Pirates right now, they're sitting in a place where, do you bring in another Jose-like coach, or do you go, Marcel Koller, you've won the Champions League a couple of times. That's where we want to go. We're willing to take the risk to bring you in and maybe take Pirates to the next step. I think that's what I mean by the evolution of the teams. Okay, for time. Let me see. Masti, can you hear me?
Hi, OT, I can hear you.
Masti, welcome. Where do you stand on this conversation we're having?
Okay, from what I'm seeing, Pirates has really improved this season, and the only issue is that they are the only team that has improved. If you look at the other seasons, number 3 has always been around 50 points, which is what Stellenbosch is about to get if they win their next match. Pirates is the only one that came up and said, okay, we're going to close in the gap between us and Sundowns. So it's not a thing of the other teams need to help Pirates. If they want to help Pirates, they would need to help Pirates by either holding Sundowns to a draw or beating Sundowns. So
or losing to Pirates.
Yeah, but if we are saying we want to help Pirates, the other teams need to win against Sundowns because that's the issue. Also, Pirates has this thing where they draw matches that they're supposed to lose.
Yes.
They need to start and fix that. Then they can start asking other teams to beat Sundowns. Yes, they can beat Sundowns. We've seen it this season in the league. But if you're going to draw against Makesi the next match, it's not gonna, that 3 points that you collected against Sundowns is not gonna matter that much.
Yeah.
See, another thing is, okay, maybe we're looking at the league too much. I feel like South African clubs also don't have ambition themselves, other than also Pirates, maybe. If you are not winning the league, guys, Sundowns cannot stop you in the CAF Champions League. They cannot stop you in the CAF Confederations League. You can win those for your fans, and you would still have titles.
Yeah.
So I feel like if teams are like, okay, we're giving the league to Sundowns, try and fight for the other trophies. That's what the Egyptians have been doing, and the Moroccans are trying to do that by dominating CAF. If Al Ahly was winning Champions League, Zamalek wants Confed.
Yeah.
So I feel like, okay, if Pirates is saying Sundowns will get this, let's try. Even this season, Sundowns was not going to stop Pirates in any way. If they had won their match against Pyramids, it would have been Sundowns versus Pirates. You understand that even if you're not winning against Sundowns, there's still other ways for you to get your stars or to get, like, to just have glory days and have trophies. So let's not just look at the league. But I feel like South African teams, they don't take CAF that seriously. And sometimes they don't even take the domestic cups that seriously also. That's all I wanted to say.
What do we say about Masi, how important, do you think that the teams can develop a league winning culture? Because up to this point, really, if we look at the league specifically, it's only been Sundowns. Can the other guys develop these things? Is it possible to, knowing that Sundowns is doing what it's doing?
Okay, the other team that I feel like can also maybe take the league is Stellenbosch. But the problem is, it seems like they also just want to sell players to Sundowns. So maybe if they can retain their players for a season or two, they can compete.
Yeah.
Then maybe we could have a top three that is Pirates, Sundowns, and Stellies. Maybe till Chiefs comes back in the league. So that's another thing, that a lot of the teams, as you were saying, they struggle financially, so they are forced to sell their best players to Sundowns.
Yeah.
So if that happens, then the next season you guys are not playing well, which also impacts your league position.
So Masi, yeah, for the last minute here, should owners be willing to bite the bullet? Because say what you want about Ntate Motsepe, he's taken losses to put Sundowns where it is. Should the other team owners be expected to do the same things with the hopes that maybe we see Kukune playing more Confed Cup and maybe getting more money that side or exposure or whatever? And do you think that our owners are built for that, or are they just washing their money, as some people might say?
I don't think our owners are built for that. Look at Simba in Tanzania. I think they gave it to an Arab something.
Yeah.
I think the only way we can get maybe your Kukunes is if maybe we do like joint partnerships with the Arabs and people who actually have money. I feel like we can't sustain something like that. Yeah.
Okay. For time, let me bring in Nick. Nick, how are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. Here's the question I have for you. What do you think about the things people have been saying about how a team like Pirates can win the league, and what do you think can be done realistically to challenge Sundowns?
Yeah, man. I think Umasi had the point. Wonka point wakhe were very valid. So it's like it is actually what she said it was. But like starting from team wonke nje aku premiership yase South Africa, how many teams that start the league with the aim of winning it at the end? So we have the teams that develop players and then sell them instantly, and then they are left with no players to compete for the title. So I think in South Africa, I think ukuluza itimu enjenge Bidvest Vets, that was one competitive team that we had. So if we still have Bidvest Vets, that team was playing with the aim of winning the title, and then SuperSport was one team that was winning the titles as well. I think ukulahleka we-Bidvest Vets wasinciphisela ama-team that plays like whenever they start the title, they are playing at the end to win it. I think ama-team amaningi manje, they don't have the aim of winning a league. The only thing that they're doing is to develop players and then sell them at the end. And then back to Mamelodi Sundowns, I think strategy sabo abanye abantu abakasiboni noma besibona, but I think into esemakhanda wabo abantu, they just want to receive money. So that's what it is. Because Sundowns can buy a player, not to use that player just to kill a competition we league. So abantu abakayiboni lonto leyo ke. So I think it's one thing that makes Sundowns like more dominant in our league.
Is that a bad thing that Sundowns does that? Because for me, I always say that Kinama fans, we're the ones that care about this. The teams don't care because they get happy when the big teams come and try sign their players. And it's not that you need to keep the player. Maybe you sell the player overseas. Should Sundowns be held accountable for that, or should we look at the teams and say, "Mara, nani guys"?
Yeah, I think Sundowns, they are not wrong of doing that, but it's time that Nemakesi, maybe Cape Town City, they start the league with the aim of winning it at the end, not to develop players to sell them to Sundowns. So I think, Sundowns, they are not wrong of doing that, but it's a high time that our teams as well, they start waking up to say, we also need to win it. If we develop players, we must sell them, but we must have players that are capable of winning the title as well.
How much of this comes down to owners' ambitions as well? because Untate Motsepe came in and said, we want to go to the top of Africa. Yegalani League, our Chiefs, our Pirates, it's fine. We want to go to the top of Africa. Do we have ownership structures that care enough about that? And I know it's similar to the first thing you said, but do we have them? And how do we get them? Or how do we incentivize those owners to want to do those things?
Yeah, we do have. Like, more especially if you pega Sundowns, they are aiming very, very high. Because I think Bona, ba aima Champions League, CAF. And then whenever maybe they fall off the CAF, bawela we league. Yabo. So our players are maningi. I think it's only Pirates that are competing with the Sundowns in terms of aiming for CAF, and then the Chiefs, they are not aiming there, and none of the other teams are aiming there. I think that's the other thing. So Sundowns, they are aiming very far. If ever they fall, they are falling off to league. In Kabanguti, they are gonna dominate it for another 5 years plus. So yeah, I mean, I think it's structure sabo, culture yabo, so it suits them to win it.
Could you affordably build a team that could beat Sundowns in the next? Let's say you give a team a 5-year window. Do you think that you could build a team that could beat Sundowns or get very close to Sundowns?
Yeah, that is possible. So I will make an example of Barcelona. So whenever they signed Hansi Flick, he used like more or less the same squad that Xavi was using. But into Ekona, Hansi Flick can be able to squeeze the best out of the players. I think you need a coach that can be able to take out the best out of the players. Because angicabanga ukuthi kukhona umdlali ofika lapha ku professional level engakwazi ukudlala ibhola, but you need to coach okwazi ukuba combine, collaborate players and make them play to the best. So I think if any team can sign a coach okwazi ukwenza ama players adlale to the fullest, I think any team can do it.
Okay. For time, I'm going to jump in. Mtagaba Velile, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Hoti, how are you?
Hi, man, ngimnandi, man.
I'm good.
Hey, makhuluma isilungu uyangithusa ukuthi where this is going to go.
No, I can hear the topic today, but maybe I'm a bit skeptical about whether it was posed correctly, the question or what.
Okay.
So that's why maybe sometimes it misleads other people. They tend to banter other teams or they make it personal.
Yeah.
So maybe the question was not posed correctly because I hear some other people, they're challenging. They're just going into this issue with a heart, man. They just get because the last time I could hear someone saying Kaizer Chiefs the only team that be able to challenge Sundowns, and I'm asking, when did Pitso Mosimane leave the PSL? That's when Chiefs were challenging Mamelodi Sundowns. But it's okay. It's okay. Let's do this. My good sir. Look, this thing is just involved.
Ngathi kusala ama bundles we corporate la.
No, yeah, it involves so many things. It involves planning from the management side in different teams, all the other 15 teams. Is the planning from the management side in terms of like identifying the perfect coach, and also the coach that comes in who will identify the players that will suit his style of play. And also implement the method that he wants to emphasize to the players. So if you look at it, take for example Gavin Hunt. Gavin Hunt could challenge for the league. No matter which team he's coaching. It's just so unfortunate that SuperSport decided to take another business model for this season. So it messed up like his plans in most cases. If Gavin Hunt did manage to survive in Toyando with Black Leopards during those times. So imagine if with Gavin Hunt having a good players and good qualities. Also, if you look at the good qualities and good players, Kaizer Chiefs, when they won the league with Stuart Baxter, they broke the bank. They went for Morgan Gold. They went for Tefama Shamaite. They went for Mulomwanda Umatoho at the back. And so in the middle, you had Uyayele Solonyane and Aboshaba. Or even though I won't rate Unkata that much, but he did contribute. But you look at that squad, you look at that team. And Nengomasha, yes. You go to Vert, the team that won the title. you look at that squad. They had Ubuhle Mkwanazi, they had Abu Munare, they had Prime Ehoto, they had Elias Belembe,
Bohlatshwayo.
Dante and Tyson also, that team. So already this thing, whether you like it or not, it shows as long as you've got quality of players, then at least it gives you, maybe I can say 70, 80 chances of you probably competing, also winning the title. So by just doing that, then you are at an advantage. Then another thing now.
Can I ask you something before you move from that? Is quality money? Does it come down to money? You having money to get quality, or is there ways to get quality otherwise?
Remember, it depends on how we're going to say like it's quality, and that quality that I'm going to identify, is it going to sustain you for the whole season? Because we can say you are a quality player that has been developed or promoted maybe from DDC or maybe from bought from other leagues, maybe around Africa. But if you look at the quality of the league that we're playing in, is not as equal as into the PSL. Or like, for example, your Belgium, like where Sundowns go in South America. So quality in South African terms, it differ. It is very different. Also taking into consideration that we are late bloomers in terms of like professional players. Some of them we bloom at about 27, 28, 26 prime. Then the player just becomes the best. So that's what I'm just saying in SA. And also remember in South Africa, our chairman did once mention this thing of artificial economy that has been created among these players. And you will think that some other players, just because of the price tag that they've placed on them, you think that it's quality, of which is not. So that's why I'm just saying it involves planning. And also remember, Sundowns, they plan. They've got a strategy how to implement this. They go by the best quality players. I mean the best. If you go to South America, you go to Brazil, you go to Chile, you go to Peru, you got those players whereby like they live and breathe football each and every day. So, and already if some of those players, they've played like, let's say in second league division in Europe, countries like Belgium, surely the standard is a bit higher than to compare to the PSL. And secondly, the thing of buying players, it's also a plan for Sundowns. They have sat down and look at it. It's just that sometimes when you try to address it, some people, they just take it emotionally, as if like you are bashing the team or you are attacking their team. No, we are just talking, and those affects. Look, Sundowns strategy is simple. You get the best quality, you bring them to the team, you take out the if they play and they don't wait for a player maybe to be off form. Look at Sundowns what they did. They bought Kulisha Mudau while Umurena was still on form on the road. They bought Jordaan Adams while who's that guy from Tex Galaxy who was playing when Mokwena in the middle. Obas. There's nothing wrong with Obas, but they brought in Jordaan just because Umshishi was injured. And also a strategy that works for them. Good, yes, they've bought quality players. Some of them they play them, they don't play them. Some of them they sell them, and that's a good thing. If they don't play when they face Sundowns, it's a strategy for them. Look, for example, if you go to Sipombule, who's the best player?
But yeah, last 30 seconds.
Okay, yes. If you go to Sipombule, who's the best quality player at Sikukune, and if you go to Igodara, who's the best player for Amazulu as a striker, and then if you go to Omageman, who's the best player for Supersport middle field, and those players are the best, they're playing the best position, but they're not allowed to face Sundowns. Already it's a +1. But also you look, they're so clever. They don't sell to the competition. They don't sell to Stellenbosch. They don't sell to Kaizer Chiefs. They don't sell to Orlando Pirates. They don't sell to other teams because they know that once you sell those players or even loan them to there, then you're already in direct competition with them. Look at what they did with Utiruk. They opted even to take him out of the country just to give him to Kaizer Chiefs. Uloch, they take him out to Iwaida rather than giving to Kaizer Chiefs. That's a strategy, and that's planning. So it just needs all the teams to come to the party and just plan accordingly. And we'll see, as they say, you don't need only to beat Sundowns to try. You can beat other teams, but you need your proper plan. Whether how do you because now today I'm like khuluma uyangivala masinya emhleni uyangiyekela.
Masinya, netime I stopile. Netime I off.
Mina angithanda ukubona umuntu athuthuka njani azinina man. Hayi.
Kumbulitai, ne plays. This is not a team's meeting. It's a team's meeting, but it's fine. Thank you, Benny. Guys, we're gonna move it to We're gonna move into the final for tonight. I just want to say this, and I know people have been watching the show know what I always say about this. I don't believe that there are inherent quality players. I believe the player is only as good as the system that you put them in and how the system matches that player's strengths and weaknesses. You can be the best player in the world. I put you into a team. Some of them even look good. Now Real Madrid. I'll give you Real Madrid for example. Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid was meant to kill everything. He's scoring. He's the top goal scorer, I believe, in La Liga. But because it doesn't match, there's a fall off in some of their performances. There's a fall off. And I know there's other things. I'm not going to act like there isn't other things. But when you look at it and you speak about it, you would have thought that just having Mbappe, it doesn't matter that you have Valverde at right back, for example, right? So now I say, when you sign players, Lucas Ribeiro Costa is not the best player in the PSL because he's Lucas Ribeiro Costa and cost X amount. Because Sundowns sat down and said, this is the football that we play. And this is the football that we want to do. These are the players that fit into our system. These are the players that do this. Mohamed Salah was not a star until he got to Liverpool, because Liverpool sat down as well and said, okay, guys, we're going to take this guy. He's got these attributes that we want to add into this system. And we're going to build a system that's going to work off of Trent, even though he can't defend like that. We're going to take Robertson and make him a star. Firmino's not going to be a main striker or a traditional striker. His job is going to be to link. You do everything, and that gives you the quality. The reason why teams fail when they bring in players from Sundowns, you know that Sundowns signing where they go, yeah, Loiwe Sundowns, he was such an incredible player, surely he's going to work here. The reason why they fail is that you're copying page 9 of Sundowns' book. You don't know what the 8 pages before had. You don't care. So we see CBD. We see at the end, CBD. We don't see that CBD was based off of Abotiane Mabunda being there, based off of Abotompo Kekana being there, based off of certain other things that come together for that, plus a philosophy. So no wonder why CBD, great players objectively, landed Kaizer Chiefs, and you're asking the questions, Guti, where's the quality? Where's Cirino's quality? He hasn't contributed to Chiefs. Okay, was Chiefs signing Cirino into a system that can use Cirino? And all of that quality, what did it mean? Because your system doesn't work. I say all that to say, sometimes it's not about money. Most of the teams in the league, you could give them all of the money that Sundowns had, and they would not be able to do what Sundowns is doing. Some of the teams, you could give them all of the money in the world. They wouldn't be able to do what Chiefs did when they were winning, or Pirates did when they were winning, because there were certain other things that underpin that success that you also have to bring in. Mamelodi Sundowns, people forget. I know they won, Patrice Motsepe won the league the first year, 2004, I believe it was. Miguel Camondi won. But what we undercut from Sundowns is that it's 20 years. 21 years now. It's 20 years to get Sundowns here in the Motsepe timeline. Years where we were laughing at Sundowns and we were saying, Sundowns, money can't buy you what, and we were making fun of them, right? Cool. You know what happened? In that time, they were learning and they were refining and they were changing. And what I want to say right now is to also say that when you look at those times, they're not afraid to change an era. They went from an era of Stoichkov, of Nieskin, of those guys, and said, guys, it's not working. Let's sit down, think, and move into another direction. Pitso, come in. We've thought about it. You're going to do this, you're going to underpin this, you build the foundation. Okay, Pitso, your time might be. Pitso then goes, Rulani is going to take the tactical edge and take us forward tactically. He's a young coach who sees what. I've groomed him. He comes in. Rulani steps in, does what he does. Now they're at a crossroads. What do? They're not afraid to take the next evolution. Now it's Fleming Berg's team. So you also have to evolve. And sadly, we don't evolve as the other teams. But I'm taking too much time. Prati.
Otizo, go jwang bra Otizo.
Man ke mnati Prati. Ha re batla Chiefs or Pirates ilo winner league. Do they need help from the other team? We're now ring this conversation we've been having tonight.
Bra Oti, to be honest, re tlhoka di-team ka moka, re tlhoke Pirates fela gore e challenge league. Re tlhoka di-team from bo Majezi go ya bo Golden Arrows, bo Stellenbosch. Gore like di-team tseo di lwele a ke re di tshamekela league. Re tlhoka team ka moka gore ha re tsena mo league-ing e ra go wina league. E seng gore we are going to re save status after re save status after 2 years ra mole gore re tsene mo top 8 after top 8 ra go to I bereke yalo bra uthi once o promote you from Motsepe Foundation o ya go PSL o tshwanetse o ye kwa ka maikelo a gore ke batla go wina league.
Yeah.
E seng gore ke batla go wina league, ke go challenge Sundowns, ke go challenge Chiefs, ke go challenge Golden Arrows.
Yeah.
And then bra Oti taba ya Zake go Sundowns e spending. Ha ke checka di league ya ntse ke ya ko ntle kwa ke checka ka go EPL. Man City spendile I don't know go feta ditlapa tsotlhe ko EPL. But Liverpool e tle ka plan ya go but e win the league. And I don't think Liverpool is spending that much. Even Arsenal, wa bona gore Zamalek go na le mo Zamalek go khalente za go challenge league go pala, but one day ba tla e thola bra Oti. But tabe ya selo ya gore Sundowns have got players. I think Sundowns have got 40. I thought maybe the player at the 40 Coco Sundowns. What about the player from South Africa? We still have much quality in the Sundowns. Rona re etsa eng as Chiefs if re plan in the future. No yana there's players. Rena le scouter, there's players tshwanetse re tsamaye go bo Thembisa re bo Soweto bo Northwest bo Mpumalanga, and there's players like wa bona no yana. There's players wa khona go ba bona ha ntse o shebella bo under 20 bo development bo email Vert boy bo di play as a Chiefs if we plan in the future before bona di player to wa bona di player tse di atsam before Sundowns e ya go ba approach o bona gore bafana ba tle go tshwenya ba gola wa sa tsame gore o ba sign after we tsa go ba sign wa ba loana ke plan a grow plan in the future wa ba loana wa bona gore okay bafana ba le koloni kwa le dilo di tsamaya sentle. There's a lot of players tse o kgona go di bona good players le go development ngwe wa go sheba go TS Galaxy gore ke manyo o tla fita. And tabe ngwe bra uthi system e botlhokwa for go if re batla go ina le tshwanetse re nne le system le gore system ha re tlise player ha re sign player because of Kisirino is a big player or ke Dolly ya mole Dolly na tsama tshwanetse re shebe gore a player a ya go fita system ya Chiefs le coach tshwanetse re bone gore coach e fita system ya team ya because of if o ka lebella Sundowns go nnile le di player like bo Pitso Mosimane, they're still playing the same. They're still playing position. How about you? Position. Go thata gore o bone Sundowns maybe e jwa mare esa la position. They are playing position football. After from Pitso Mosimane to Rulani, from Rulani to Manqaba, they were playing position football. Even though they don't from Manqaba to Cardos, and they still playing position football. But they still lava jwa ka system ya bona. The question ya gore ke gore system ya rona re le Kaizer Chiefs ke eng bra uthi tshwanetse re boela go mora gore go batla system ya rona a culture, and once re ra go compete ga ra tshwana gore re le bo top 8 ra go compete for league bra uthi ke batla go bona Majezi e le ko number 2 ke batla go bona Stellenbosch e le ko number 1 ke batla go bona Chippa United e le ko number 2 e seng like ntho ya gore ha re sheba Chippa United brauti go thata mo PSL go sheba Chippa United against TS Galaxy go thata brauti le
Yeah.
wena o go tlhoka di dispring yana gore mo le dipanado nyana gore o check di game tse gore a me go tla koriwa but di team tseo bothata ba tsone di gagamatsa ha di a go tshameka le team tse di tona wa go di bona gore okay Golden Arrows so last time ke e bone e dlala le Kaizer Chiefs yo Golden Arrows ne le strong then season after game e latelang after 3 days ba dlala le team e nngwe ba rekisitse ke yone ntho e leng gore e bolaile standard sa league sa rona brauti.
Mara Prati ke batla go botsa then Sundowns e win 15 and only 15. I think the second most ke Chiefs le Pirates with 4 I think each and then bo Super Sport. How na team man that we can say ko leaguing in a history a league ya go win a league? How do you make a team? How do you make a team have that culture ya go win? Ka bane look at for example ke ya Arsenal. Arsenal go win a league ka bane experience a thing every year re shop up into a1 let's say the same thing. And they don't have the pedigree whereas how Sheba Man City or Sheba Liverpool in the recent years. But they ba ora se re fitla mo ko leaking ra gona go etsa so le Sundowns. Is it possible to build that ko leaking ya rona or is it still thelete? That's the problem.
Brauti thelete ga se bothata brauti. If plan ya gago like wa bona gore okay financially I'm not that strong like Sundowns o tshwanetse o tle ka strategy se sengwe tsa ka ke go bolela gore e se strategy se sengwe a gre wa bona gore Sundowns is that strong go wena go re tshwanetse make sure gore o nna foot wa tsamaya o batla di legend like it's possible brauti it's possible re ka create maybe I get a good example Devin City a great promotive officially ba go PSL e tla go PSL once ba tsena go PSL tshwanetse ba dule fatshe okay ba tsamaye maybe maybe this is school of excellence development ba lebelle development like ba plan in the future and ba bone gore like it's not about gore maybe team tshwanetse nne le 100 million like the team tse dingwe gore o reka di player no it's about gore okay o ka kry-a bomang then o balance team o batle le di experience players there are a lot of players brauti ha o ka tlhakantsha mo team mo wa ya ko marumo ka lanto wa tsa mahango wa ya ka wa tsa mangwa tsa mara according o tsa di player according to the system you can
for
win
time. For time, I'm gonna jump in, Prati. I want to bring into Pilani.
Otsisha kunjani?
Mangimnandi man. Pilani na indaba. Where do you sit ngale conversation yethu?
I said a few weeks back, Ugoti, if Pirates League, we need to have an overhaul. I Druk Magahambe and the technical directors.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Simply because the old guard is complacent. Lava corner, everything is fine. It's a case of if it's not broken, why fix it?
Yeah.
This is the thing that separates Sundowns towards the other teams. Sundowns fundamental
Pilani is jumping. Just say that again.
How they win. The fundamental motive here, Sundowns, what does Sundowns want? So Sundowns want the league. Okay, sharp, full stop. That's the motive. It's a case of how they're gonna do it. Does Pirates have that motive? No. Does Chiefs have that motive? No. Does Stellenbosch have that motive? No. Instead, Stellenbosch has their own model logoty. They're gonna want to sign players to Sundowns and make money through those sales. The only team that wants to win the league is Sundowns. As a matter of fact, here's my unpopular opinion: Sundowns Sundowns' excellence is not because of them wanting to win the league. Sundowns' excellence is because they're fighting for CAF. So when you go to CAF, it's a whole nother level, and you need to play up to that level.
Yeah.
So because the Sundowns is so used to being in that level for over like the past, it's close to 9 years now. When they come back to the league, there's a big discrepancy gap within that. Do you understand? So there's a massive carryover into the domestic league whereby like Sundowns is seemingly unbeatable because of quality. And it's not because of quality, and it's not because of quality per se, or people saying you must buy players and whatnot. No. It's a case of motive. And that motive drives you, and that motive does put you somewhere. If you do not have a motive, then how in doubt, Joe?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How much of this comes down to Tate Motsepe and the vein in which he runs that club? Because corporate is cold. Corporate is cold. Corporate wants to move forward all the time. If you don't want to move forward, it's fine. They don't mind putting capital in. They don't mind doing all that stuff. How much does it come down to the way that he runs that club in that sense, and the attitude of the way that he runs that club or has run that club?
You see it with the result. Like you see it with the result, because in corporate, in as much as people want to move forward, but people want to move forward efficiently. You understand? So by going forward efficiently, you need the right people doing the right roles in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So because there is an end goal in place. We would say at the end of everything, this is what I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Because there was a comment of you saying, Wuti, Sundowns right now is taking like a mercenary approach with Freiburg and bringing in Mekaka Doso. That's the motive. The end result is what counts.
Are we too emotional? Are we too emotional? Are we too emotional as everybody else? Maybe.
Yeah, we are. We are. We are emotional. In Kenya, yet, especially me from a Pirates fan, we see a lot of Pirates fans are too nostalgic. Chiefs are even worse.
Yeah.
If you have to be honest. So because of that nostalgia, because of us wanting to cling on to history, it holds us back. Sundowns, yes, well, now they have the of winning 15 titles, but their history is a result of them moving forward. Whereas Tina, us moving forward is because of the history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so in terms of us, like we need to like flip the script and look forward, and we also need to like be very introspective, especially with the question of team, must other teams help Pirates to beat Sundowns? I don't think so. Pirates needs to beat Sundowns on their own, because that is when they learn. That is when they learn. That is when they get the knowledge. That is when they get the experience, and they build on top of that. And you shouldn't rely on it, because the moment you rely on it, other teams are gonna catch up, and then you need to have new tactics, and then you start over.
Do you get? I like what you're saying.
It's a whole like vicious cycle.
I like what you're saying. For the last minute, I want to ask you something. Do you think that what's happening in South Africa is maybe a culture war? In that, it feels as though Sundowns is the new thing, doing something in a new way, quote unquote new. And we want the old culture to win out so badly that we say certain things, like we view things a certain way, like Pirates must or Chiefs must, be the ones that go and fight this thing for us. And maybe they represent a certain culture of football. Do you find that maybe that might be the thing, that Motsepe is this ultra quote unquote capitalist guy who's coming in and he's making this thing corporate, and man, we want to have fun, man?
That is the problem. It is a problem. I do agree with you, because a perfect example is Man City. when Pep Guardiola came in, before even Pep Guardiola came in, they were acquired by the ATL group, and they wanted to win the league, and they've been winning the league, court. And manje, about Man United, nabo Liverpool, nabo, they deserve to win the league. The very same way that you are saying, Guti, Pirates and Chiefs must deserve to fight for the league. It's a sense of entitlement that I'm also seeing, and this entitlement is toxic.
Yeah.
And he just fucking this entitlement, he's just fucking king in to the point because the Sundowns is just cruising nicely and they're keeping quiet and they're moving forward. And the gap season by season keeps eking bigger and bigger to the point where now people have to do extreme overhauls, and when they do these extreme overhauls, they do it in the short term, not knowing whatever like long-term consequences because they haven't planned them.
Yeah.
This is the fundamental problem of PSL teams. PSL teams want quick results. PSL teams want quick short-term solutions, but they want those short-term solutions to last for the remainder of the time. And something has to give.
For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring in Football Agent. Football Agent, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. Football Agent, where do you sit on all of the discussions we've been having tonight?
Yeah, I always try to speak football from the background to the front, ne? Because I realize most fans don't actually know the background. I always say I'm also a football coach, so I understand the background side of it and what it all leads to. Now, let me summarize it. When you are hired as a coach, you go to the boardroom, they give you the mandate of the team. Now, the mandate tells you what the team hopes to achieve in near future and in the long term. And then if you are part of that project, then how long you will be there or whatever reasons. Now, the mandate, the problem with teams, they don't explain the mandate to the fans. They only give it to the coach. You find that Chiefs' mandate is not to win the league, but the fans are not aware of it. Now they feel like you have to win the league. You go to maybe Pirates, you find that the mandate is let's win the cups, forget about the league. You understand? Now, okay, let's say they give you the mandate, and then after the director or the head of sport will take you to the team to introduce you. We have a new coach. His name is this and this. Now, the coach always asks the question, how much powers do I have over the players?
Yeah.
Now, that is the second important part now. Now, if you have too much power given, it's obviously the players will respect you more.
Yeah.
But if you have less powers, now you are going to have a problem controlling the dressing room now. This is where now it becomes a challenge, because if you look at most teams, they can't control the players in the dressing room. It happened at Pirates. It wanted to happen at Sundowns, but now I think most players realize that we are not winning this one. They came back. Look at the issue of Saling. Okay, now when you get to the team as a coach, obviously you analyze your team, you tell them your expectations, and you give them what you want them to do. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. Players, maybe the previous coach used to maybe train them 3 times, and then the other 2 days they will do drills and talk. Now you come, you say, guys, we are going to train on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we are going to plan our strategies on how we are going to win. Now we have key players at the team. Now, what if the key players don't agree with your strategy? They are like, no, we can't train 4 days. It's not part of us. We are not used to that. Now, if you have 4 players that are no longer wanting, they are influencing other players, how are you going to replace them? Now, Sundowns, that's where it beats you. Sundowns has depth now. If Motaung doesn't want to play, they replace him with Mokwena. Now, obviously, Motaung will realize that this thing, it won't work for me, because if I don't play, they replace me with someone, but the team is still performing. Now you go to other teams, you have 4 key players that are saying, no, coach, you are not doing what we want. This is 1, 2, 3. We are not going to play. They start faking injuries. Now you need them. Now you have to do what? You have to go to their level and ask them to play. Now that is where it becomes a problem. Now we are done with that first part now.
Can I just ask you on that one as a sidebar? Do you think that is what hurts local coaches versus overseas coaches? in that what power can you exert on the team? Is that maybe one of the distinctions, just as a side question?
Yeah, I think Pitso Mosimane realized it very well. That's why he said, if you don't bring my technical team, I'm not going to coach, because he has powers now. Now, these other coaches, they are struggling with that part. Because a player doesn't agree with your decision. He goes to management, and the management take the player's side now. Now, other players are like, then it means every time we have problems, we go to the management. Now, at the end of the day, you are left with players tells you what to do and who to put in and who not to put in. And remember, the fans are not aware of this.
Yeah.
The fans, they will see the team playing there. They'll ask you, where is Maswangai? Whether you like it or not. Okay, then that problem is over. Now we go to the second problem.
Very
now,
quickly.
the second problem, I'm going to wrap it, just leave it there. Now, the other problem now comes here now. You have players, you need to analyze your players and now formulate strategies. There are certain teams that gives you players. Like, these are the players you are going to work with.
Yeah.
Now, as a coach, it means already you have to plan with. There are certain teams that says, you know what, choose which players you want. We are going to give you time. Maybe this season you are fine. It's your first season. We can forgive you. Next season, we are going to allow you to buy players that will fit to your system. Then you can take it forward.
Yeah.
You understand? That is why when Sundowns coach got in, he started saying, "Oh, let's release other players." Why? Because even if you keep them here, they don't fit my style of play. So they are just gonna be here, and then they are not gonna play, and they're gonna be frustrated. And at the end of the day, we are having problems. The fans don't know this. Remember, host, it's only you and the management. Now we are done with that part. Now, as a coach, for me personally, I believe each and every. Let's look at Sundowns. Sundowns doesn't have quality players as people claim. There are only 5 players at Sundowns that are quality. We have Williams, they have Ribeiro, they have Allende, they have Mokwena. You understand? Those are the 4 or 5 players that they have that are quality. The rest are just normal players. I mean, we maybe Obrimudiba can put him there and there, but remember, the Adams is just a normal player.
Okay.
Lunga is just a normal player. I mean, it's just a normal. Shalulile, you can Reynas. Remember last time, Sales. I told you when they were playing that, why are you closing down Sales? And he proved me right by just missing an open net. You understand? So those are some of the things that I'm trying to show, that if you are planning against Sundowns to play with them, make sure that your plan is focused on around certain people.
Okay.
Now,
For time. Football agent, time.
Thank you.
We're going to have the conversations proper. Let me go to Meneer Geldenees. Welcome.
Good evening, guys. It's Sandawana, it's OT.
Welcome. As a Sundowns fan, where do you sit with all of the conversations we've been having today?
You know, OT, I've been listening to my interviews from all platforms, Waga Mikel Cardoso, and then I went back to watch a movie, Morgan Freeman, Lean on Me. It's 1980.
Yeah, when he's the principal.
9 meeting. That was the yes. That's a best. I'd say like that's a best movie whereby clubs can also look forward to watch, and as well as coaches, because I think each and every time when you go into an organization, you first need to study that institution. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, there are points whereby the football agent spoke of, in terms of certain players with Sundowns are very average. Let's just be honest. I think there's something that is there, my brother, that makes all these players to become world-class and superstars. Because you can check, there's a player who's called Uncobo, who was a best defender of the season. He went to Kaizer Chiefs, and then that performance was no longer there ku Kaizer Chiefs, and then you ask yourself what happened. You check the likes of Kama Billiard, you check the likes of a majority of players whereby they leave certain clubs and then they just become average players. So the mandate of the teams, I would also be on the fence to say no team must help Pirates. Every team must help itself to beat Sundowns. You check Leicester City. You check even like on the weekend, Crystal Palace, they just won the FA Cup. And you see Guti, they lost abo Olise, then they kufika boba nabo Mateta. And then to compare Mateta and Haaland, it's criminality, to be honest. But if you check Mateta, the way he's performing and everything, so the mindset of the coaches must not be in a manner of I've just signed and I just want to be there, and so it must be in a method yokuthi you want to instill something in these guys. Because if you check Ukados, they are players, but at the end of the day, these are men, these are human beings. So you must be able to speak to a human being before you speak to a player, because a player, it's only a career. If you get an injury, you are out. But as a human being, you must have values on developing yourself as the player that you were seeing yourself almost the same.
How much of that is influenced by the club itself? Because I always speak about the attitude of clubs. You know, Tate Motsepe's attitude is straightforward. When Chiefs and Pirates were on top, so to say, the attitudes of Dr. Ivan Khoza and Dr. Kaizer were evident. How much does that play into this? Because let me be honest with you, I don't know what Bab Jomo's attitude, Bab Jomo Piera's attitude is at Richards Bay, for example. I don't know. For example, how important are those type of things as well to mold the club?
Okay, you know, OT. There's a it's different to I would say like a different for different strokes. Now, for an example, Dr. Patrice, when he came in, would say he wants to conquer Africa. Now I can bring that to hip hop. When AKA May his soul rest in peace was on a hype, there was no Casper during that time. So I'll take it to Guti. Casper saw AKA as that star that he wants to eclipse. So if a owner of a club does not have an ambition to be great, but is just into business of developing a player and then I'm selling that player, like to be like, for an example, it's not a crime, Uguti. There are clubs who are there just only to make money. But what is the vision? Because eventually, if there's a vision, Immishinia corner will be it will be impossible. For an example, if I love the statements and say swallows must booyah, whereby they only drew they drew a lot of games, they lost they lost fewer games, and then they won games whereby we never saw them, and they were in the top 8. So the attitude of the club, what do we want this club to be in the next 20 to 25 years? Because vision must not be something as in 2 months time, but it must be something that is longer, so that for each and everyone, when they tap into that, to be honest, the statement le Saga Pitso Mosimane, so if you want to win trophies, come here. You see, like the attitude Yama player now when they want to sign for Sundowns is like, so I am guaranteed I will be getting game time. So now for me, game time, that means I have to plug myself into this vision. I have to plug myself into this ideology yokuthi this is actually a champion side like regarding other ones. So the attitude yama owner must also be different, not having a team just to sell players and stuff. But if you are into that business, it's fine by you as well. But if you want to achieve more, you have to grill more and go more.
No, for time, I'm going to jump in. I just want to say, hey, Conti, I'm not a Man United fan, Conti. I'm an Arsenal fan. I hate this final as it is. But anyway, I want to end the show off by saying this. I think what I'm realizing in having conversations and then looking back on the actual facts and things like that, what I'm realizing is that there's things we like and we're afraid to say that we like them. And that's the only reason why we want them to win. And there's things that we tell ourselves. Like, for example, back to glory. I hear this a lot. Chiefs and Pirates back to glory. Pirates is very close to the glory that they've had before. They're not, in the PSL era, they're not a league-winning team consistently. Chiefs is a trophy-winning team. I grew up knowing that Chiefs wins an SAA Super 8, wins those type of things. I don't know Chiefs to be a league team. I've never known Chiefs to be a league team, right? So even when we speak about those things, we always we speak as though they are the ones that are sitting with 15 league trophies. When we speak about Sundowns' dominance as well, we can also say that they don't have a cup dominance, right? But I think, again, it comes down to us liking what I spoke about when we said that it's a culture of war that's happening, is that you look at Bafana, you look at Pirates, you look at Sundowns, they're winning. But we're afraid to say that we don't like that thing. We try and discredit those things differently. I also feel as though there's viewpoint issues when we speak about South African football, that we're not taking into account certain viewpoints. Like, for example, when we speak about financial fair play, we always speak about Patrice Motsepe throwing money into Sundowns, and maybe throwing money to Sundowns is wrong. They're not making a profit. They're not doing whatever. Which owner wants to do that and all of that stuff? But then when you take a different viewpoint, you might figure out that, hey, maybe Patrice Motsepe doesn't need Mamelodi Sundowns to make profit. Maybe he's got a portfolio that has Mamelodi Sundowns, that has the Blue Bulls, that have Border Rugby, that have whatever, that for his own business purposes, he can then take that asset and go and get other things for his other businesses or other stuff, right? So maybe the viewpoint that we're looking at it from is different. Sundowns is losing money. How can you throw money down into a black hole? But when Stan Kroenke owns Arsenal and he goes, okay, I'm going to use Arsenal to leverage me getting a loan to go build SoFi Stadium. Now it's a completely different viewpoint, right? So sometimes also those things come into this. You know, maybe he doesn't need, maybe it's a vanity thing that Sundowns is at the top. And maybe now you look back and that asset is worth 300 and whatever. That's why they keep buying these guys. Completely different viewpoint. So it's so interesting to speak about these things when we speak about them in full, when we're watching the stuff and we have our opinions and things like that, because you start to realize that, oh, maybe Chiefs doesn't care to win the league. Maybe honestly, they don't care to win the league. They just need to win trophies every year. And I know it's been 10 years, but get it, trophies every year so that they can ignite everybody that year and then go back to sponsors and say, guys, hi, look at what we were able to do when we won the Nedbank Cup. I saw them today. Was it today or yesterday? I saw them at the Nedbank Cup headquarters, for example. Maybe that's all they want. That's what they need. Maybe that's the goal of what Chiefs does. Maybe when Prapobi said, no, we don't want to play CAF Champions League. We don't care for CAF Champions League. It's too expensive. It's too whatever. Maybe they were telling us the truth, right? Maybe the goals of certain clubs, similar with Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is the Stellenbosch Academy of Science, Stellenbosch Academy of Sports, sorry. It's Stellis FC, it's the Stellis side, the sports side of Stellis University. It's a bunch of other things that have been put into a holding for MGRO. Maybe that's what Johan Rupert is doing. I've got a portfolio of this thing. When I spend my CSI money, it goes into there. He's got Zungu Investments, he's got what he's got with Abo Greenwood. Maybe it's not, maybe they don't want to go and win. And we're coming to grips with those type of things. So these conversations are very interesting because at the end of the day, I always say, us as fans, we feel these things, we want these things, but maybe we're just not aligned with what our teams actually want. And you see it by actions. I want to be top of Africa. It means that I have to be willing to spend money for 20 years for my team to be consistently up there because I'm competing with Bo Al Ahly, who have decades upon decades upon decades of a culture of doing that, spending that money. So I have to put my money where my mouth is, right? Meanwhile, the other teams that people speak about, maybe it's just not what they look at. I've often asked, as a Chiefs fan, honestly speaking, when I was growing up, I didn't care about the CAF Champions League, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I couldn't care less. In fact, I feel like as South Africans right now, if not for Sundowns doing what they're doing, we don't care at all. We don't give a damn about a star, right? So it's important to them. So this is why I'm like, sometimes these conversations are very interesting because maybe the teams don't want to go and help Paris go win. You know, maybe it's not down to them, but I want to end this, just directly speaking to the topic we're speaking about. You play Sundowns twice. Your job is to go and beat the other guys in order for you to go and win. That's just how it is. For Liverpool to go and challenge Manchester City, Liverpool had to go and beat everybody and get to 98 points. Simple. So however you want to slice it, that's what needs to be done. Sundowns is breaking these records now. Libona, there was a time when they needed to look at everybody and go, okay, how do we compete with those guys? This is what we need to do. We go and do it and we go and compete. If it means that I have to go spend X amount to go and beat Al Ahly or play Al Ahly or play that level, I need to put the money down to go play at that level. It's just what you need to do. My contention here is that most of the teams, we don't have structures, philosophies, cultures in the PSL. A lot of our teams can only sustain three or four years of being at the top before they break something. SuperSport United wins 3 leagues in a row. At some point, you look at the 3 leagues in a row and you go, okay, what do you do to keep sustaining 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many? That's where they fall. Pirates wins a double treble. Okay, you've won the double treble. Where do we go from here? How do we keep going with this culture to carry on winning these things? Right? They fall. That's where they stumble. Chiefs comes number 2 under Middendorf. Now you have to think about, okay, how do we go to number 1? They stumble. So a lot of our teams shoot themselves in the foot at the points where they're meant to be taking the next step. And unfortunately, that's the South Pirates right now. And I'm not saying this will happen. It's not a prediction, but Pirates, 3 years of Jose Rivero, they're now at the door. Now you face questions in year number 4. Meanwhile, Sundowns kept Pitso for how long? And then while Pitso was there, they cooked Rulani. And while Rulani was there, him and Mangoba were there. And while Abu Rulani were there, people forget that this is Flemingberg's 3rd year in charge of the club or at the SD position, which means that he's had 3 years to when he steps in fully, he's stepping in as somebody who's had 2 years in the culture of Sundowns, in the management of Sundowns, understanding what happens in the background. Now, think about Chiefs, think about Pirates. Chiefs has just ballooned in Coach Nabi, let's say. Ballooned into a dry place. Everybody's gone. Kevin Johnson, who was meant to be a technical director, is gone. The other people who are meant to fill out positions are gone. You're starting from scratch cold. At least Pirates has the Bomandla niggas to do a handover nyana, as they did from Zimbabwe too. But we don't think about those things. When you look at our clubs, Skukune is doing well at Siema. Cold turkey, they go and fetch Tinkler. What do you expect is going to happen? What is the most likely outcome? So it's those type of things that are very interesting. Chairman Klopi has been in and around the club for long enough that when his father steps aside, he steps in. There was even a little bit of a handover, you could argue. That's how you keep evolving. I spoke about evolution as my last point. I spoke about evolution. It would be easy for Sundowns to look at the success they had under Coach Pitso and say, yeah, we had success under Coach Pitso. We won a star. Why do we need to keep going forward? But Coach Pitso himself tells you about Rulani, and he says Rulani is going to take us forward tactically. He's young. He's got new ideas. I've groomed him. Rulani takes over. It would be easy to sit in a season where you've almost finished invincible. And then you go, you know what, guys, we can continue with this. To get rid of all of that, to go into Caroso time, that's a team that's not afraid to evolve. And a lot of our teams are not afraid to evolve, and we keep thinking back to what happened 20 years ago. There's 4 league titles at Kaizer Chiefs. Last one was 12 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. 12 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. No, not 12 years ago, sorry. 8 years ago. The one before that was 2003, 2002. You get me? But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everybody that jumped in. Thank you to everybody that commented. Thank you to everybody that sent gifts. Mapule, Crazy T, SN, Tabang, Terence, thank you guys so much for the gifts on that side. Thank you to those watching on YouTube. Remember, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, the show is on. If you want to watch any of the previous conversations and reviews and everything back, they are available in full on YouTube, as well as my own stuff that I drop. I've got a podcast episode that I dropped yesterday, so please, if you could do me the favor, going over to YouTube and watching. But then also, if there's any brand things on my page, please, guys, can you watch them? Can you comment? Can you like? Can you do all of those things so that I can also go to brands and say, guys, my audience watches the things that we have here. So if you see right now, I've got a sleeper one, really cool application. I've got a Lay's one too. And then of course, guys, last thing I'm going to ask for, if you could please just head on over to Instagram, Overthinking Football Show, and give me a follow there so that I can get the numbers up on that side to match everything else. And obviously then it becomes a lot easier to sell a lot of what we're doing here. And I don't have to ask you guys for money, and we can run this thing and carry on and grow this platform as much as we can. And also, if you could just do me the favor of just sharing these things, man, and speaking about them and telling people and putting them into groups and stuff like that. Those little things really, really, really do help if you have not followed already. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you then on Friday. We're going to do a preview of what's going to be happening over the weekend with the first leg of the CAF Champions League final. I'm not doing a watch along of that thing. Bye, everyone.